Hey Janine, I didn't see a description unless I somehow overlooked it in email. But I'm assuming maybe this is for a bed and breakfast or something like that. I'm just really quickly going to tell you the ones that I think aren't working as well so that you can settle in on some that are working. And I'm just going to kind of remove them as I talk about them. This is a little ambiguous and could be anything. Again, same with this one. It's flowers, but it could really go to anything. I like the ones that look a little bit more house-like. This one I don't necessarily think helps to stretch the two letters together. That one's a little ordinary. And this is the process. We just have to narrow this down. That has no real meaning for me. The tree is nice. I think you could maybe do something that's a little bit more, as you develop it, you could do something that a little more distinctive in a tree. Let's see, those, like this looks like audio waves. It kind of looks like a explosion or something there. This looks like you're trying to tie together a bunch of different things at the Belmont house. Again, I'm assuming this is a bed and breakfast, so I hope but because you have maybe a cake and music, maybe it's a place, I'm not sure. This looks a little Wizard of Oz. Okay, I'm really liking more of the monogram type things you're doing. Not necessarily drawing the house. These are all, kind of the same thing I've talked about, like the wordings kind of hanging out there in space. I'm not sure if these are like open books, maybe, but I think some of your others will describe the house better. Let's see, and these are kind of the same thing I've talked about. I don't know if the tree direction is the best direction. Okay, and the roof, I don't know if it's that helpful unless it looks exactly like the roof of the house. Okay, what we have here is pretty typical to bring this down to 2 or 3 options. In this case, I'll talk about these 4 real fast. If you want to go a monogram direction, I would recommend going online and just Googling, monogram looks and see what you come up with. It might be that, let me go ahead and just get some words in real quick so that I can manipulate this and you can see what I'm talking about real fast. Okay, Belmont House. I'm going to go ahead and stack this. You might not use it in this format at all, but I just want to for the examples that I'm going to do real quick, I think it'll work best. And let's go ahead and make this small caps. And let's put a little bit more, not stretching, not stretching down here, but let's put a little bit more oh my gosh, I'm so stupid this morning. Let's put some more space in between the letters, which is called kerning. Tracking if you're doing it through the whole word. Trying to do this before my whole family comes downstairs. Okay, so something like this possibly, maybe there's even, this, I think it's going to look very, if I'm imagining what you're working on, I think it's going to look very classy and maybe even, harken back to a different era kind of thing. I'm going to leave this just as it is for us to use for the upcoming example. Okay, so I really like the idea of a little bitty house silhouette. I think it could look very Victorian even. And again, if you're not working on a bed and breakfast and I'm going down the wrong train of thought, then let me know and I can change your critique. Again, I didn't see the description. So, you know, this is just a simple little house, but I can imagine, you know, much more elaborate detailing. And then you can use one good place to find uniform swirls like this would be to go to glyphs. So under type, I've opened the glyph palette and I'm going to choose a font that I know has a lot of glyphs. Type embellishments. I think you can probably download this for free, but there are lots of other ones out there. But they have all of these great little images that would keep you from having to hand draw all of those things when you want it to be uniform. So like maybe this one would work. Let's go ahead. You just draw a text box and then you can double click on it because it's actually a character. So that's how it's being brought in. I want to go ahead and change this to outlines though. So under the type menu, I will create outlines. Okay, and now that it's passed, I could manipulate it to however I needed it to fit my space best. For this, you know, quick demo, I'm not going to worry about that. You'll do that as you need to. Let's rotate it around just to make it. Okay, something like that could end up looking really, really classy and give it some character. And then if you add detailing to the house itself, I really think this would be a fantastic logo. Okay, so going down that train of thought, I think something along these lines could give life to your raw idea here that you've been using. Okay, so there's that one. Now, moving on, I think you can do something just as decorative with a monogram. Let me find a font that has a really nice B. Let's try Bickham. Where is it? Okay, that's weird. Okay. For some reason I couldn't find that earlier. Okay, that's a nice B. It's probably not the best B, but it's a nice looking B. Again, I'm going to go to glyphs with Bickham and see if I know they have. Let me look at the swash capitals. That's what I want. Let's get the really decorative one and see if it looks any better. Oh wow, that's a crazy B. Alright, that might be a little too decorative, but I'm gonna go ahead and use it for. Now you know I can't use it; it's just too wide. Let's undo that and go back to the other one. Okay, so if we went with this, just for argument's sake, you could just do the letter and place it above your text for the name. You could do some creative cropping with this. That would look really nice. I actually would lean this way. I think that's really got some potential. Because it's definitely a B, but it has an artistic flair to it. It could look like a leaf. I think it's great, actually, something like that. And then let's go to, you would go to Pathfinder's palette and crop, oops, not that way. Okay, crop out those edges. Okay, so, you know, maybe this sits here, maybe it becomes smaller and has placement in front of the words. Something along those lines, okay? Okay, so we talked about those two. Moving on. This, you know, I think you had intentions of like a really ornate frame, and I think you could find one online and kind of mimic it and like place it in Illustrator and draw over top of it. That's one way to handle this. I'm going to just start that for you real quick. Let's just do a quick search for ornate frame clip art. See what we find. Okay. Well, there's frames and then there's this kind of thing, like almost book plate sort of look, and those are really nice too. Yeah, so if I can get this, I'll just drop it in. I chose that one simply because it had so many choices. Of course, that didn't work for me. There it is. Okay, so it's really low res, but you can, wow, you really can't see it. Okay, you're going to need a higher resolution one to be able to work from. But you could certainly find a frame and place it in there and then draw over top of it. That's a great way to get, to do it without having to draw it completely by hand. This one is really appealing to me too. This is starting to look like a postmark, and I think you could do something really cool with like a vintage postmark kind of look. Let me, vintage postmark. Let's just see what comes up. See if there's something that has the look of what I'm talking about. And I'm going to have to stop this before I get to 15 minutes on yours. Oh gosh, see, I mean, even something like that, I know that's not a stamp, but it just has that really cool look to it. Okay, I know I haven't been able to show you an example of what, that right there. I can barely see it, but it looks very cool. Okay, yeah, something like that. So even just, you know, get your circles, a lot like you had to do with the Starbucks logo. You know, get your text in, your circles, draw the ornate little house, and then if you need help, I can show you ways to rough that up and make it look a little bit more like a stamp. I think you have some good options here. They may not have been the options you thought I would pick, but there's definitely some potential for these that you've chosen. I didn't show you an example for this one, but really this one's really good. This one I think is cool, especially if you are doing a bed and breakfast, someplace people travel to. I think it's very fitting to look like a vintage hotel sticker, something like that. Not hotel sticker, a vintage travel sticker that you would put on a suitcase. So I hope this has been helpful. Thank you, Jeanine.